Hi, I'm Mr. Miyagi, and this is Mr. Miyagi's Workshop. Well, today we're going to be working on installing an air locker air compressor in the front up here. Now, it may not be where you're going to install it, but it's a place that I found that it looked like it was a pretty good spot to do. So, let's get to it. So I've removed the plugs and I've pulled this back Allen out of here. That's where I'm going to set my solenoid for right now. And I also did a little checking on where I might want to put locate this, and I kind of temporarily put it together. So now I'm going to put some sealer on here. I'm just using a good Teflon tape. Now, I don't have any of the paste that they keep talking about. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this on the rear so that I have, then I can use this front one here, this one right here, that I can use for the front locker if I ever install one of those. So I'm just going to screw this down on there. And then I'm also going to put in a T in here to run my hose out because of my location. So this is going to screw into this way. I'm going to cap this off with this unit since I happen to have it, and it'll screw in there. So, and once again, we will seal this. If I had a regular elbow, I'd use it, but this is what I got in stock, so I'm going to use it. And then this also gives me the capability of bringing another line out. Good and snug. Okay. Now we're going to install this at the top here. Grab my adjustable spanner. So now I've got this kind of adjusted so that the air is going to go out this way, and this will be my other feed. This has also got a small O-ring on it. All right. And what this is your pressure shutoff. So when it gets to maximum pressure, it shuts off. And this is 100 psi. So you have your little plugs. I just leave this cap on until I need to plug in. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this air gauge on the front here. All right, I happen to have another T. So we'll just extend it up a little bit. And plus that gives me a spot I can easily screw in another unit for like the front. So that'll be cool. I just want to keep an eye on pressure. Okay. So if we were to put another one of these on, I would just put it off of the side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this and plug it. Just put this little tapper in here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and screw this in. 14 mil. All right. So there you have it. So this is plugged off. We have the gauge in, and we have an outlet for the hose. So I'm going to go fit this in the truck to make sure that all this fits. One other thing that you need to install on here is this is the air intake. I may move this to a different location so that it's easier to get to this filter to take it out and clean it. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and go over there and mount this unit. This is the area where I think I'm going to install the air compressor. I remove the main air filter out, and I think I'm going to stick it back up in here. Now I'm going to probably pick up one of the bolts for this oil capture can, and that'll help stabilize it. Of course, I'm going to have to build a little bit up on this one side to make sure everything's going to fit proper. But I've already kind of fitted the unit down in there. And this is also what I came up with. I came up with this extension right here for getting my air filter up a little higher and out of the way. But right now I'm going to set it up and drill some holes and hopefully get this thing mounted in place. All right, so got this all mounted up in there. This is bolted down now to the fender well. And right now I'm going to put the main air cleaner back in, so I get this all fitted. And then I'm gonna do the wiring and everything. But I want this back in here so I know where everything is at. Well, got everything in there, so the air filter and everything will fit. ARB air filter, the pickup point, I moved it over in this area. I twirled that fitting a little bit. It's tight in there, barely enough room in there for all that stuff. So now I just have to run the wiring. So I'm probably going to go right up in this area here, then this little V. It's a shot into the dash, so underneath the dash there, so I can run this. So I'm going to punch a hole through there, a bigger hole. I already put a pilot, and we'll go from there. Okay, it's all in there, and it even pumped up. Got 100 pounds on it, just under 100 pounds on it right now. And the only thing I got to hook up now is the line to it, which goes to the rear end, which I don't have yet. But let me show you. Works good. Well, now I've got all the air compressor wired up and the solenoid for the rear locker. So this is pretty easy now. Let's turn it on. Powered up. That would turn on the locker. Pretty simple. This worked out pretty well. This is one of these fuse tappers. And I tapped it into the fuse box, and I'll show you exactly where. This is a blow up of that panel, and so what I did is I tapped into the door lock fuse there. It's 15 amps, and I'll show you the little unit that I'm using. This is a tapper right here. It has a crimp in on it, and it has two positions. The lower position is for the stock item that you're fusing, and then the top position is for what this power line is going to. So it does two fuses in a single spot, which is kind of nice. Okay, there's the rear end, the third member, the differential. Everything's back into place. I'm just waiting for the sealant to kick off a little bit so I can do the rest of the torquing. Oh man, that little bugger didn't want to go in there very well. So you can see that I've got everything hooked up. This is my line, it runs back to the locker, and I got my little air compressor set up in there, and I put the little gauge on. So this is all complete. It's tucked in there pretty tight, but it fits. So we're at the point now where we can install these axles in there. What I did is I put a new O-ring around this area right up in here, and I've cleaned out a lot of the old grease on this unit And what we're going to do is we're going to apply new grease, and I'll put some more grease in here. There's a seal in here that you got to be very careful with when you're messing with this. This is why I got the jack stand here. It'll help support the axle while I put it in. I will also put some grease on the end of these splines here so I can fit this all together. So let's get to it. Well, you can see that we've got all the bikes back in here, and the Delica is outside. The air locker and air compressor is all installed. The episode before, we did the heater, and we're finishing up with this air locker, and hopefully we'll be able to try it out. We're going to maybe take it out for a run tomorrow and go find some muddy or sticky or rocky place to go try out the air locker. But all in all, it was a fairly fun project to do. Sometimes you never know what you're getting into when you're starting these projects. So if there's any comments or questions, you can put them in the comment section below, or you can send them to my email address at tmiyagi@hotmail.com. And if you've liked this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget that ringy-dingy button for the next episode coming up. So this is Mr. Miyagi saying, be safe out there. Hope to see you on the road. Ciao.